see some of you judging me, staring at me. Golf pro. You really look like any golf pro I've ever seen. You look like you sell weed to high school kids. Those two don't have to be mutually exclusive. I just want to throw that out there. People are always surprised that I walked away from being a golf pro. Oh man, that's a great career. Why would you leave that? Because golf pro is not professional golfer. There is a very distinct difference. What I did was not exactly Tiger. I answered the phone and folded shirts. That's I made $29,000 a year. My lessons were a nightmare. I couldn't communicate. I had it all in my head what I wanted to say, but it always just came out like crap. My last lesson that I ever gave, I had a woman and she needed to invert her spine and widen her stance. I was like, bend over, spread your legs. Not very good, not exactly Tiger. Gallagher is an Irish name. I've always been grateful to have an Irish name. It does a good job of covering up all the Pollock blood. Not that I'm ashamed of being Polish, it just sucks when you're Irish and Polish. Everybody assumes you're drunk and stupid. It's a shitty combination of stereotypes, is all I'm saying. I know stereotypes aren't supposed to make you feel good, but some are better than others. Right? If I were a black dude, everybody would be staring up here thinking, I bet that guy's a good athlete, a good dancer, and hung like a horse. Ain't no damn stereotype, it's a Match.com profile. Looking out, I'm noticing we have a nice, diverse mix of Western Europeans here tonight. That's always promising. I guess that's the end of my black jokes for the evening, huh? No, it sucks. I always appreciate having black people in the crowd because I have jokes that pertain to black people. But when they're not around, I feel weird telling them, because then you just got one white boy on stage talking shit to a room full of honkies, and this is South Carolina. That's a Klan rally, so I'm trying to end up on any government watch list. Gallagher is a good Irish name. The problem growing up, everybody wanted to know if my father was the guy who smashed watermelons with a sledgehammer. Yeah. Now, thanks to Showtime, everybody wants to know if my father is a drug addict from Chicago. I resent that. All right? My father's a drug addict from New Jersey. Thank you. Glad some of you could chuckle at my childhood trauma. That's a good thing. Unfortunately, substance abuse does run in my family. It made me very nervous when I found out I was going to be a father. I had to make a decision to make sure I was responsible about the way I abused substances. For instance, I always took a taxi whenever I was too drunk to pick up the baby from daycare on my own. Some of you found the humor in that. The rest of you reacted the way the daycare people did. He pulled me to the side one day and they were like, Jim, we can tell you've been drinking. We can smell alcohol on you. I'm like, you don't have to worry about that, ladies. I got a taxi out front. They said, no, Jim, that's not the point. What happens if you go home and you pass out? That baby will be all on his own. Ladies don't need to worry about that shit. I scored some blow off the driver. I'm going to be up all fucking night. Again, I'm glad some of you could find the humor in that. The rest of you reacted like those child services people. They had no sense of humor whatsoever. We were telling stories about my kid being back in daycare. That was so long ago. Just got his driver's license. He's 16 now. Let me tell you, those are two totally different types of parenting. If you don't have kids, when they're little, you want to be there for everything. You want to be in the moment. When they're teenagers, you want to live in the past. Me, preferably the 1950s, back when it was legal to beat the shit out of your teenagers. That was. Felt like America's golden age right then, Right. Some of you were with me. I've had people not be with me on that, you know, they'd get upset. I had a guy wait for me at the end of the show one night, and he's like, I just want you to know you're using microaggressions on stage. All right, man, thanks, whatever. You know, fuck you talking about, microaggressions. It's like, no, man, you're using coded language by saying you want to live in the 1950s. You're saying you want to live in a time where black people were forced to the back of the bus, and gays were forced to be in the closet, and women were forced to be in the kitchen. I was just like, yeah, I just want to be able to beat my kid's ass and not go to jail. So I can't help you with that other shit. That other shit is serious. That's oppression you're talking about. And you need to discuss that with a congressman or a priest or I don't know, a psychiatrist. Pretty much anybody but a stand-up comedian. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna let all of you know right now. If your problems can't be solved with a dick joke, I got nothing.